Welcome back again. We have another topic of presentation, which is formation of clouds. I am Sadish Kumar from Manipal University. Now, this is an important idea, how clouds are formed in the atmosphere, because every day we used to see clouds with different shapes, and we can see that the bright clouds as well as dark clouds. So, what is the basic mechanism by which the clouds are formed? This is the next topic. Now, I have already discussed the fact that convection activities are more prominent in the troposphere, by which wind is formed. So, we have wind flowing or blowing in two different directions. One is parallel to the surface and another is perpendicular to the surface. The wind which is blowing parallel to the surface are known as meridional winds, and the wind which is going vertically up, that is along the direction of the convection, is known as vertical winds. Now, what is the proof that wind is blowing? For which we can use this method, plume dispersion. Plume dispersion means when smoke is coming out from a source and wind is blowing, so that this plume has different shapes depending on the geography of the location. So, this is the method by which one can really measure the speed of the wind in a local scale, and you can see that the shape of the wind is different, which is mainly due to the difference in temperature. For example, if it is on the ground, then we have almost this one, but if there is a temperature inversion or a temperature decrease in the higher level, you can have this one. So, in winter time the wind is blowing very close to the surface, but in summer time it is high up in the air. You can see these are the photographs. You can see that. So, this part, we can see that it is in summer, but this is in winter. So, the wind is parallel to the surface, which is very close. Now, this type of plume or smoke propagation is always observed in the tropical region, that is very close to the equator. Now, I have already discussed that nitrogen and oxygen are the most abundant species present in the atmosphere. But the question is, we cannot see a nitrogen cloud as well as an oxygen cloud. Why? The answer is very simple. A cloud is nothing but a collection of water, condensed water. So, in order to liquefy nitrogen, the temperature must be extremely cold. It must be cooled to minus 196 degrees centigrade to condense. And if you take oxygen, it must be cooled to minus 183 degrees centigrade to condense. Therefore, these possibilities are quite rare, or it is impossible. Therefore, nitrogen and oxygen clouds are impossible. Now, this is a basic mechanism for producing the cloud. What happens is, you have sea here, you have land here. When sunlight comes, both will be heated up, but water will take a long time to get heated up due to its high specific heat. So, land will heat up very fast and water will heat up in a slow manner. So, when water starts heating up, evaporation will take place. So, the water will turn into vapor, water vapor, and it will be spread due to the wind, which we have already seen. So, here and from the land, this main source of water vapor is by the transpiration from the plants. Now, some liquid water molecules gain more energy than the surrounding liquid molecules. In a simple manner, we can say that the water present on the surface as well as on the sea will be evaporating, so that it will absorb heat energy and it gets evaporated. So, ultimately what happens is, since it absorbs heat energy, it is virtually a cooling process. Therefore, evaporation always produces cooling. So, So, this is the fundamental reason. So, evaporation which requires energy, and this energy is responsible for, because it takes some amount of energy, therefore, it is a cooling process, right. Now, the question is what are the parameters that influences evaporation rate? The temperature. The more the temperature, the more the evaporation rate. Therefore, the oceans which are very nearer to the equator are highly responsible for the production of water vapor into the atmosphere. So, water vapor is pumped or ejected into the atmosphere mainly from the water bodies present in the tropical region, that is near to the equator. So, this is the basic idea of the formation of cloud. Once water vapor is formed, this water vapor will be ascending, because the density of water vapor is less than that of air. So, the less density, it goes higher and higher. So, we can see that. So, this evaporation depends on the temperature, and this now what happens when the evaporation starts, it goes up and it starts condensing. Therefore, we have two processes. One is the evaporation rate as well as condensation rate. Condensation means the water vapor will be condensed into water droplets. So, these are the two important parameters, and when it is decreasing, the temperature is decreasing, means there is a possibility of equilibrium. Equilibrium means equal. If the condensation rate and the evaporation rate are equal, the humidity will the relative humidity, which we used to term as the water content, will be 1, right. So, high water vapor pressure means the more the water vapor present in the atmosphere, which is translated into high humidity. So, high humidity means more water vapor, and low humidity means low water vapor. So, high humidity is always found in summer, because summer is hot, and low vapor pressure or low humidity is always found in winter time, because the sunlight is less intense. Now, there is another process which is condensation nuclei, which we will come to in later. Now, here we can express a new term or define a new term, that is relative humidity. Means if you have an air mass, air parcel, you measure the water content inside the air parcel, and you have total amount of water vapor present in the entire air. So, if you take a ratio of it, then you can see that this is relative humidity, or otherwise it is the amount of water vapor content in an air normalized to the total air. Therefore, relative humidity is a measure of the amount of water vapor present in the atmosphere. So, summer time the humidity will be more, that is why we used to sweat while walking in the summer, and in winter time the humidity will be less, therefore, we feel cold. Now, here if the condensation rate and the evaporation rate are equal, then the relative humidity is 1. So, whatever is produced or whatever is whatever is produced by the evaporation will be condensed. So, there is no loss in between, therefore, it is relative humidity is 1, or if you convert it into percentage, it is 100%. So, 100% humidity means it is very high, right. Now, you can see that this is a pond over which you can see a haze, or means a cloud produced by water vapor. So, when sunlight comes, it gets the water will be evaporating at a faster rate, so that it can form a cloud, and this cloud is, but we cannot treat this as a cloud, because cloud we used to term we used to express, or we used to define the phenomenon or the entity which is found at the top region in the atmosphere, but it is on the ground. Therefore, we used to classify this as a fog, Therefore, a fog is a lower cloud, low level cloud which is forming near to the surface. For example, if you go onto the road through winter time, you can see in the morning time, then you can see that morning fog. Fog means it is a low level cloud. Now, so this is another mechanism. This is a liquid water, and when evaporation starts, its size will be reduced because it forms water vapor, so that its size will be reduced and finally it becomes very small, but it takes a long time to get its size reduced. Now, this is a puzzle. That means, if the relative humidifies or relativity is 300%, which cannot be observed because the maximum value is 100%, but clouds do exist. Even though the relative humidity is 300%, the clouds are existing. Means more and more water vapor is injected into the atmosphere, so that immediately if they can condense, then more clouds will be produced, right. So, this is an extraordinary case. The question is there any other agency which is responsible for producing cloud at a faster rate? Yes. When dust is contaminated into the atmosphere, these dust particles are acting condensation nuclei, around which clouds will be formed or water droplets will be formed. So, if you inject dust onto the air, so what happens is the formation of cloud will be much faster. So, this is the method. So, if a place which is deprived of particles or dust, or which in turn, or otherwise we used to refer them as aerosols. If aerosols are absent, then the cloud formation is slow. In a place where aerosols or dust is very high, clouds, the formation of cloud will be more, because due to the presence of small particles which act as condensation nuclei. Another example is that when we go near to the sea, we feel cold because the wind blowing through the sea contains fine droplets due to evaporation. So, fine droplets producing from the sea are considered to be another condensation nuclei. It need not be dust, it must be anything which is in this which is having a smaller size. So, dust or suspended particles either in the solid form or liquid form, and sea spray are considered to be the another source of condensation nuclei. Now, another is when this air mass is moving up, it contains water vapor. So, it goes to a certain height. So, where it starts condensing, which produces small water droplets, condensation water droplets, and if it moves further again, these water droplets will be again condensed to form ice crystals. So, if you look at a cloud which is at a certain height, you can see that it is white in color due to the fact that it contains ice crystals. So, 80% of a cloud, white cloud, which contains ice crystals, and 20% of saturated water at 0 degree centigrade. Now, when this cloud breaks by some means, these ice crystals will come down or it will fall down, which is known as a hailstorm. So, when this cloud breaks means the ice crystals will move very fast into the cloud and it will break, and the movement of these ice crystals produce it produces friction by which lightning is produced. Therefore, without lightning hail does not happen. The first symptom of hailstorm is that enormous amount of intense lightning. So, this is a warning. So, when intense lightning is there, extraordinary lightning is there, you can produce a hailstorm. Now, this is the after effect. You can see that ice pieces are falling on the ground. So, it can harm to human being as well as it can damage the motor vehicles and other things, right. So, this I have already discussed that when cloud is formed, more and more condensation nuclei are present in the atmosphere, the cloud will grow at a rapid rate. So, more and more clouds will be formed and this cloud will go higher and higher. So, actually this is the cloud base, from where this is the cloud base and you have the cloud top, which is about 5 kilometers. The height of a cloud is 5 kilometers, means it is a huge cloud. That cloud will be growing forever, and this is due to the this is due to heavy convection as well as the condensation. Now, another important point is that whenever you go near to the mountain, you can see that there is a cloud over the mountain. What is the reason for it? Because when wind is coming, wind contains humid air. So, when wind is coming, this mountain will block. As a result, the wind will go up. So, wind will be uplifted due to the presence of these mountains. When this air will be uplifted, it will be rather easy to get a condensation. Therefore, clouds always will be formed on the top of a mountain. So, you can see this. So, this is a cirrus cloud in which you can see the ice crystal. So, this is another cloud which is growing, so that it contains ice crystals as well as saturated water at 0 degree centigrade. Now, so this is another form of cloud, that is strato clouds, strato type clouds, and but these clouds, they do not rain, but these clouds contains lot of ice crystals, and this is otherwise known as fair weather cloud. This is another form of clouds, just like balloons. So, you have these clouds are not observed in our country, but is always observed in the polar regions, which contains lot of pollution. That is the significance of these clouds. This is another type of patchy clouds over the mountain, because this mountain is acting as mountain is blocking the wind, so that wind will go up. So, wind will not go higher up, but it will be spread just like a plume which I have shown. So, what happens is it can form a ring of clouds over the mountains. So, these are the different types of clouds due to the different types of condensation and the different environment present over the top of the mountain. Now, this is another one, that is the white cloud, and the formation of this cloud represent the fact that this is a fair weather. Once you see this type of clouds in the atmosphere, you can see that it will not rain, but this produces a fair weather, so that you can set up for a journey. Now, this is the actual dynamics. This is an overview, actual dynamics. You can see that when this is a cloud in which air is moving very fast, and this air, the movement of this air is responsible for the movement of ice crystals. When these ice crystals are moving, it produces friction. As a result, lightning is produced, charges will be produced, and it undergoes a heavy lightning. And when lightning is produced, it produces high temperature, and this high temperature, the air will expand. That is the sound of thunder. So, thunder and lightning are produced at the same time due to the difference in the velocity of light and sound. They will be observed at different times. So, here I can simply tell you that when an aircraft is flying, you can see that air is moving in a round shape across the two wings. So, that is the reason why when an aircraft is landing on the runway, do not stand near to the runway. All vehicles must be removed. All human beings must be rescued, because the strong rotation of the wind can make damages to the vehicles and harm to the human being, right, because the pressure variation is extremely large. Here also this moment is very high. So, they are equal, they are comparable. Now, this is another one, I have already told you that air is lifting up, it produces cloud, because air is lifting from high temperature to low temperature. So, the air parcel gets cooled when it is lifting up. If the air parcel is coming down, then what will happen? The reverse, it will heat the surface. So, when a cloud is descending from top to bottom, it produces cloud, it produces heating. This is the reason by which deserts are hotter, because in deserts cloud is coming down, but in our this location, means near the coastal locations, air is moving up, so that it produces cloud, and this cloud will come, this air will come down through another path, and these paths are known as descending path, and this it is almost at a latitude of 37 degrees. So, these are the regions where deserts are formed. So, when air is lifting up, it produces clouds and it rains. So, when air is coming down, means it does not make any kind of rain. Therefore, deserts are free from rain because of the fact that air is coming down. Now, so I think, so this is a simple version of how clouds are formed. So, essentially when hot air from the surface, when they ascend to a certain height, it carries water vapor as well, and at a height what happens, the temperature is reduced, so that condensation will start, so that water vapor will condense into water droplets, and on further going higher and higher, these water droplets will be again condensed into the form of ice crystals. So, this is the method, and the main parameter which we have to measure for the production or the formation of cloud is the humidity. Humidity means the amount of water content present in air. If the humidity is more, means there is a possibility of formation of a huge cloud onto the height or a particular height. So, this fact is more important, and there are other facts as well. Another simple one is the presence of dust particles. If the dust particles are more, that is a pollution. So, if the dust particles are more, means the formation of cloud is very high. Therefore, if you really want to make cloudy, what one has to do is one has to inject more dust particles in the atmosphere. But these are all not practical, but these are all theoretical ideas. Anyway, this is the basic mechanism by which one can really find how clouds are formed in a scientific manner. So, I think this is enough, and if you think on it, definitely you will get different ideas and different aspects of science by which the formation of clouds and other phenomena into the atmosphere. So, thank you for your patience, and see you next time. Thank you.